Hello, come talk to me. I want to talk to you about something. I'm overjoyed you're here today. I want to talk to you about an interesting concept. What is normal? No, seriously. Is there one way to be that's normal and every other way is wrong? Or are there exactly as many ways to be as there are people and normal doesn't exist? Rather, infinite types of difference. What if normal is a societal construct that some people subscribe to because people get comfort from sameness? When we were younger, you may recall, a kid would talk to a kid who wasn't like all the others, and it would make them uncomfortable talking to a weirdo. People can come just short of feeling terrified inside of things they don't understand. It's like instinctual. So when a society member is different, it can be seen as a threat in one way or another. The primal instinct is to perceive the disparity as a difference in strength. You know how animals size each other up. Then they either fear the strength or fear the weakness. If a person is quickly perceived to be stronger in some way, that can make the other person feel intimidated, insecure, or even ashamed. The answer to that is often to try to find a way of tearing that person down with bullying, lies, or some other sort of mind-fuckery. But that's a topic for another day. If the difference in another person is perceived as weakness, that can cause discomfort, intolerance, and even fear too. In nature, members of a species derive comfort from their sameness, and they will single out a member they believe to be weak, because the weakness of one will bring the strength of all down. Even birds, when they're very small, will push a weak chick out of the nest because they'd rather have their sibling gobbled up by something down below than have that weak one attract a predator. That would be terrible. A massacre. Who needs that? But the modern human mind is more complex than instinctual thought. And over time, interpretation of what we consider weakness has changed. In some ways for better, and I would argue some ways, not so much. For example, how loud a creature can roar or yell used to be important, but now, if someone is loud all the time, it's just annoying. It's not strength, it's just irritating. And things like kindness, stoicism, restraint, self-expression are often seen as softness or weakness. But are they? I realize that in nature, each species has a set of rules of behavior, and uniformity translates to stability for them. But I would argue that nature's greatest strength is its interdependent biodiversity between species and amongst themselves. So, in reality, the coexistence of diversity and the acceptance of mutual differences serves to stabilize an ecosystem. So therefore, elective divisiveness within a certain species could ironically manifest as self-sabotage. Do you understand what I'm saying? Terrific. So now, why am I talking about this? In law enforcement, there's strength inherent to a uniform mentality. I mean, you literally wear uniforms, enforce the same laws, and the same standard procedures are expected of you. I understand it, I support it, and I respect it. But as an individual, which you have always been and you will always be, you are much more than one member of an army of identical people. And you need to make sure that you make an effort to balance that. Think about it. Individual means there is just one of you. That's awesome. But remember, our minds sometimes confuse difference with not being normal. And we feel pressured into being whatever is more mainstream, more common. Now I ask you, is it really some sort of ideal normal? Or is it just boring? And let me tell you something. Those I remember from when I was a child, the beat of their own drum people, as I think of them now, not one of them was boring. I think one of them went on to be a serial killer, but the others are doing just fine. I'm going to be honest with you right now. In order for a person to feel fulfilled and complete, they must exercise the freedom of their expression as an individual. Is this being stifled in you? I mean, in regards to what you wear, what you eat, how you talk, what you like to do with your time. Maybe someone has said, are you serious right now with that? And the answer to that should be no. It's not about being serious. It's about being yourself and not just feeling not badly about it, but having the self-respect to be proud of it. If you're stifling your expression because you're worried somebody's going to pick on you or talk about you, I got news for you, darling. They're going to talk anyway. So you may as well live the life you want. And let me tell you something. I see it all the time. There is danger in being too serious. I'm not talking about work. You need to take things very seriously. But for the sake of your sanity and your longevity, you need to balance that out. A few suggestions. Wait a minute, where's my water? It's very dry here. Sorry. Wait, how many lives did you get? I think the answer is one. Am I wrong? And you don't get any do-overs. You must remember you get one shot to make this life be what you want it to be. Don't wait until you're all bent over looking like a dejected basset hound to figure this out. You get one shot to make this life be what you want it to be. Live it the way you want to live it. In this noble profession, everything you do is for others. Make the rest of your life be about you and those who love you for your authentic self. And I hope I'm not offending anybody here, but I really only know how to be direct. People love it or they hate it, but see, I'm living by example. See, this is me, it is what it is. But let me caution you. If you pause and do some self-reflection and realize that you get pleasure from attacking those who are different, you may not have found yourself yet. You may not be comfortable in your own skin, and that's up to you to fix. You are inflicting more harm on yourself than on others. Decide who you want to become so you can be proud of yourself. Every individual decides their own self-worth, and that will always be in peril if they calculate that based on other people. The other thing I would suggest as we try to escape the danger of taking all of life too seriously is to use humor as a coping mechanism. Not while you're on the job and people are watching you, of course. You can't control the calls you're sent to, and you must give them due reverence. Nor am I suggesting you avoid the important step of honoring your true emotions from these calls, but after that, it is a very effective coping mechanism to find humor in unexpected places, in places the typical person would consider off limits. Now, you may be thinking, are you serious right now with this? You seriously want me to look back on these terrible times and find humor? Let me just say this. There were times in my life when if I hadn't found a way to laugh about my circumstances, I probably would have cried until I puked. And we want to keep puking at a minimum, if at all possible. So, you are an individual. You were meant to live your life as a one-of-a-kind, unique individual. And that's a beautiful thing. Trying to live your life being somebody else's idea of normal is necessarily censoring you. Be who you are, unapologetically. And let's all adopt a mindset of embracing the differences and supporting each other for not being boring. Be yourself and be well.